You are watching One Book, One Review with Wiebke. Hey everyone, it's time for my November wrap-up. November was a very stressful month, mainly due to NaNoWriMo, which I won. Thank you very much. You can watch 3 NaNoWriMo vlogs that I put up for this occasion, and I talked a little bit about what I wanted to do and in the last video what I achieved. In November I also reached my 500th video. It's sort of a bookshelf tour. For some reason I also have 2 unboxings. I don't know what happened, but I bought books in November. I only uploaded one tag, the 5 strong female characters tag. I also uploaded 2 discussion videos in November. In one I talked about my insecurities about buddy reads, and in comments a lot of people said they had the same problem, they were not sure how to do it and what to do. So I recommend go to that video, read the comments. There's a lot of good advice and tips on experiences how other people deal with their buddy reads. It was so helpful, thank you very much. The other discussion video was about how I am a slow reader and I don't really have time at the moment to read, which is much more frustrating than being a slow reader. And a lot of you said the same, that you were slow readers and that it just takes a lot of time, but some of you said you focus on the time of reading and taking the time to read, while others said like sometimes it can be a struggle to have to deal with a book over months. And I think that is a thing we should take from this video, that time is much more of an important factor than the reading speed. Oh, and also a lot of people ask what actually is normal reading speed or average reading speed, and if you Google it, it's around 200 words per minute. So now let's look at the books I read in November. It looks a little bit more than it actually is. One is For Retribution Falls by Chris Wooding. It's a pirate adventure story. We follow the crew of the Katy J, an airship, spaceship, and they are kind of framed for murder and they have to clear their names and sort of deal with all the stuff that's going on. I really enjoyed this book. It was a lot of fun to read. The characters are very interesting, and in my review I also mentioned that you could look at it critically if you wanted to, but you could also just read it for an adventure fun. Then I also reviewed Waistcoats and Weaponry by Gail Carriger, the 3rd book in her Finishing School series, and for me I felt that there was not enough story in this book. It was more about Sophronia and her flirting and dealing with guys and discovering that she likes guys and what she wants in guys and all of these things. It was well done, but at some point just a little bit boring. The last book I reviewed was Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress by Dai CJ, and I loved this book. It was beautifully written. The story is very interesting, informative. It talks all about education, re-education, and the importance of books and reading in an education. At some point in this month I also reread The Monger of Solace, the first one by Gail Carriger. I don't know, I felt like a trip with Alexia and Lord Mackin, and you know I love this. I also listened to 2 audiobooks, and they were both in German this month. I listened to a novella, Freitisch by Uwe Timm, and I really did not like this. It was just a lot of name dropping and 2 friends meeting years after university and talking about old times and Arno Schmidt, and I really don't know what this was about. I cannot recommend it. The other audiobook was Der Junge muss an die frische Luft by Harpe Kerkeling, who's a German comedian, and he talks about his childhood and how he grew up in his family, and it was very interesting. I learned a lot about him that I hadn't known before, and it wasn't as funny as expected due to the things that happened to him in his childhood. But it was very well written, he narrated it himself, and I really liked listening to it. Do you know what I like best about monthly wrap-ups? That they make me look back at the months and see what I have done. And I'm quite happy with what I've read and what I've achieved, and this was a good month, despite it being very stressful. Thank you all for watching, and tell me in comments what you have done in November.